Welcome to my channel Learning with Khatak. From the last couple of lectures, we are covering the exception handling concepts and the usage of exception handlings, how to deal with the abnormal errors, unwanted errors in the C++ program. This time, let's take another example. Suppose we are trying to develop a program that gives access to its user when the user's age is more than or equal to 18 years. We can also use if-else statement for this purpose, but let us do age checking using exception handling in C++. So, as you know, that most of the real life applications avoid to give access people less than 15 years or 18 years. So for that purpose, we want to write a program to give access, to grant access to the person who is greater than or 18 years old. So before moving later on, let me discuss about the errors or the exception handlings, that how they can occur, how we can define an errors, how many types of error are there, and what are exception handlings. So if we look at this, basically errors and exception handlings. Errors, exception handling, and also we can call it an error. So what types of error? Error or the problem that occur. Error or the problem that occurs in the program due to an illegal operations performed by the user or by the fault of a programmer. So unwanted illegal operations by the users. So there are two types of error. One is compile time error and the other one is runtime error. So what by means compile time error? Compile time errors are those errors that are caught during compilation times. For example, some of the most common compile time errors are syntax error, library references, incorrect import of library functions and methods, uneven braces, etc. For example, sometime you forget to to write semicolon at the end of the statement. This is a syntax error. You write opening curly braces and forget to write closing curly brackets. This is a syntax error. You forget to include a particular library. So this is another type of error. So for example, if you look at this code, int main, and then cout some statement is there which is missing by a semicolon. So if you run this program, there is a syntax error, means your program will not be even run. So what is then runtime error? So such type of error are called compile time error. Runtime error means your program will compile, but error will execute during the execution time. So runtime errors are those errors that cannot be caught during compilation time. Are those errors that cannot be caught during compilation times, means the compilation of your program will be successful. As we cannot check these errors during compilation time, we name them as an exceptions. That's why we call it an exceptions. So if someone asked you that what is exception, what is exception? Exceptions are those error which cannot be caught during the compilation time, or rather these error arises in the program during the runtime. For example, if you look at this, this is the main functions, and this is int a is equal to 5, and then we are going to writing cout statement that a divided by 0. So if you look at this program, there is no error in this program, but when we execute this program, a runtime will be error will be there that we can't divide anything by 0. We can't divide anything by 0. So this is basically the difference between error and exception. Exception generate during the runtime, while error generate during the compilation time. So error and exception handling. So error exception handling, then what is exception handling? Exception handling is the process of handling errors and exceptions such that the normal execution of the system is not halted. If we cannot use exception handling, the normal execution of the program will be stopped if there is an error during the runtime. But if you are going to use exceptions, then this exception that the normal execution of the system is not halted. Exception handling in C++ consists of three keywords, namely try, catch, and throw. So in try block, catch block, and a throw statement. A throw statement is always used inside the try block, as we seen in the last couple of lectures. Let's see, one of the most common runtime exceptions can be zero division error. When we try to divide a number by zero, then the program will get executed successfully, but during compile time we will face an error causing an application crash. For exception handling in C++, we use the try-catch finally block. For example, there are multiple types of situations arises in the program. Sometimes we ignore wrong things to do for all but demo program. Similarly, abort processings detect but don't try to recover. And then have a functions return error code. Program is consistently spending CPU cycles, easy to miss a check, and then use C++ exceptions. So here in this video we will use exceptions. And how to use an exceptions, there is a throw statement. Throw construct an exceptions object E and takes it out of an enclosing context defined by a try block. And in try block defines for thrown exceptions can enclosing context catch, where we handle the exceptions. So exception handling in C++, this is a try block. In try block we will use the throw statement, and catch block will be used to handle the exceptions. So keep in mind one thing more, we can throw multiple statement in a try block, and there may be a multiple catch block. So try block, there will be a one try block. In one try block there may be a number of throw statement, while in catch there may be a multiple catch statement too. So now let's move to the screen to the compiler. So if you look at this, this is the exception handling in real life. We want to throw exception age as an exception if the age of the person is less than 18. So in main functions, let me declare a try block. This is a try block. In try block I declare just int age is equal to 15, and I use a condition if age is greater than 18, access granted. If the user age is greater than or equal to 18, then he or she can use the applications. But if age is less than 18, what will else? Obviously if the age is less than 18, then throw an exception of age. Throw an exception of age. Here look at this try block. In try block we use the throw statement to throw the exceptions, and then finally the catch block. If you look at this, yes, the catch block, in catch is basically the exception handler block. In exception handler block, the throw age exception will be thrown here, and then see out access denied age is age, means here the age will be displayed that the age is less than 18. So that's why access is denied. So if I run this program, if you look at this, so access denied age is 15. So age is 15. So let me change one thing. I am going to do here. I am going to ask from the user cout enter the age and then cn age. So now it depends upon users. Enter the age. Let's I enter the age 30. So since 30 is greater than 18, so access granted. Similarly, if now this time I entered age is 10, look at this, access denied age is 10, age is 10. So now in this case, since age is 10, age is 10, so age is greater or equal to 18, condition become false. So the control come to the else statement. Here an exception is thrown, and here in catch block this exception will be handled, and the message will be printed that access denied age is 20. So then simply these situations can also be handled using the simple if else blocker, but this is not a very simple. For example, division by 0. If a denominator is 0, then what will happen? In this case also we will throw an exception from the try block, that is denominator cannot be 0, and properly a catch statement will be there to print the exceptions as we did in the last lecture. So this is the end of the exception handling. Again, so if you look at this try, in a try block there is a throw statement, and throw statement comes to the catch block where we catch the exceptions. If you look at this in try block, this is the try block. Yes, this is the try block. In try block, we throw in exceptions. If you look at this, uh, yes, in try block. So, uh, so this is the end of the exception handling, where we have done the basics of try-catch block, then division by zero, and then we develop a real-time applications where we grant an access to the users if he or she is greater than 18-year-old. Thank you very much for being with us.